Hello and welcome to a simple video. I am doing another tasting. This is the Man-Made Mead Extras channel, so this is where I do a lot of my tastings, as you've probably seen if you're subscribed. Today we're tasting my results from my oak experiment that I did a year and a half ago, December 2021. I've got 3 bottles here. I've got a bottle, they're all orange blossom mead with different oak forms. So I'll try to link to the original video if you want to check it out. But this mead's about 10.5%. One of these used an oak spiral, one used a oak cubes, and the other one used oak chips. And it was all medium toast French oak chips, or excuse me, medium toast French oak itself. So that's kind of our base. The whole point of this is just to see how they are a year later. Is there any big difference? I think I remember from my tasting that the cubed version was the better one, in my opinion. We'll see if that still holds up to be true today. Let me go ahead and open all of these real fast. All right, I'm not doing like a blind test or anything. I will know what I'm tasting, so that's just part of this experiment. These were on their side and disturbed the lees, so there's not going to be super clear pours, but that is the cube. Try to organize this. All right. Here is the chips. And the spiral. All right, so I'm going to actually start, just because my hand's on it right now, with the spiral. Let's see what it tastes like. Smells good. Well, that's delightful. That orange blossom honey is wonderful. Oh man. Oak presence is pretty rounded and nice. It's very warm. This is aging beautifully, I'll say. It's hard to know. Okay, before I make a bunch of comments, I'm going to go ahead and go forward to the next one, because I feel like I'll have a better comparison to see the differences between them. So here is the chips version. Need a little palate cleanser. So one little hard thing about this had a little sparkle to it when I first opened it, and it still does. If you can see in there. Maybe you can. So that sparkle is not necessarily a great indicator of a good thing for age, because it's kind of got a little bit of a something to it. The oak is there, but there's like a slight fermentation-y thing that's funky. It's not bad. It's very it's got a little more brightness, and I don't know if that's from the oak necessarily. So that's kind of a weird thing. I'll come back to it. Last but not least, cubes, which was my favorite. Okay, kind of back into this realm, back in the spiral territory. The roundness is back. The oak itself is presenting in I feel like a similar way to the spiral. And that there is a bit more, this has a more winey-esque style to me. A little bit of brightness in there from, I think, the honey and acidity found in that. I'm going to do a quick pass through and then I'll give you my notes. Alright, so here are my notes. The butteriest one, I would say, of this is the cubes. It has a little bit of that rounded element to it that has a little bit of a stronger mouthfeel, in my opinion. And it adds some buttery smoothness to this, which is happening here in the cubes. Next up, the spiral is close, but it doesn't have quite the same buttery side that the cubes does. And there's not as much tannin or profile coming from that. The hard part about this, unfortunate thing, is the chips version, with it having re-fermented, means that there is some funky something happening here. And I'm having a hard time getting through the kind of fermentation funk that I get from it. A little bit of like a nail polish remover side that's adding some brightness that's really distracting. It's hard to see exactly what's happening there. I think it's still good, but it has like some fermentation funk. I still prefer the cubes. Cubes are pretty easy. Honestly, I love using chips. I mostly use chips in my brewing. In fact, the last probably 20 things I've oaked have been all chips, not necessarily cubes, but maybe I'm making the wrong choice. Maybe I should be making everything with cubes instead of chips. Spirals are not bad. They're a little more expensive, in my opinion. Chips are probably the cheapest. Cubes are pretty cheap. So this is a fun test. You can go check out the original video if you enjoyed this one. But I love getting to put these things to the test, and I hope that you will maybe go check that video out and go check out the main channel, because of course I have tons of content about mead making. And my hope is to help educate you to make choices that will make you have an easier time making mead. There's a lot of make in there. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to hit subscribe, and cheers.